Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear.
Right, hope everybody's having a good one. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator with Cookie Pirate. Today we're flying the Cirrus SR22 going from Moorea down in French Polynesia up to Bora. It's going to be about a 39-minute flight. I think we're going to go at 16,000 feet, and it should be right about 140 miles. It's actually 130 on Sky Vector, but okay. So yeah, climb aboard, let's go flying. So it actually had some recommendations to do a French Polynesia flight, and I haven't done this route, but I have done the opposite. So it started in Bora and flew to Moorea. Alright, loaded in. Beautiful handcrafted airport right here, also at Bora as well. But just take a look around. It's beautiful, like paradise. Early morning here, I think it's 8:30 in the morning. Polynesia time. Might actually be only 8. But alright, let's get set up here. Battery switches are going to come on first. I'll take a minute for that to initialize. CDI to GPS real quick here. Let's get a few autopilot things set up here. Turn this up to 16,000. FLC's at 110. Nav will be on. Alright. And real quick, check outside. Yeah, a couple things in the way. But we're good to go ahead and get the engine started here. So what we'll do is nav and strobe lights come on. A little bit of a drain on the battery, but once we get the engine going, that'll be fine. We'll look down here, fuel switch pump comes on to boost. Extra full rich. We'll move the throttle up, pull it back, and then bump it just a little bit forward like that. One last check. Clear left, clear right, clear ahead. Clear! Engine's running, oil pressure's immediately up into the green. Temperature's beginning to rise. Now we can turn the alternator switches on. Next up, the avionics. Everything looks good so far. That's initializing. Now, this airport doesn't have weather reporting. So I'm gonna just take a quick glance outside. You can kind of see a wind cone back over here behind the trees. Can't really see what it's doing, but it looks like the wind is coming from this direction. So I think what we're gonna end up doing is turning here, coming out and going down to that end of the runway. So we reset that view, go back into the cockpit. The altimeter is preset when loading into this plane. So we're good to go, 24 Celsius. Nice warm morning. We're gonna go ahead and release the parking brake, and let's get taxiing. Coming up to the hold bar. Get ready to do our run-up. Interestingly, this taxiway is closed. Used to be a path. Either that or it's just a service road for vehicles or something. I don't know. It looks like it used to be a taxiway. No, okay, I can see that wind cone a bit better there. The wind is actually the reverse. So we're gonna go out and... Oh, this is stuttering a little bit, I'm not sure why. But we're gonna back taxi down the runway that way, and then turn for takeoff. So, let's go ahead and get ready to do a quick run-up. First thing, we'll look outside. Flight controls, rudder's good, elevator is good, and ailerons. Let's set flaps to half. We're confirmed down. Back into the cockpit. Run the power up to 1700 RPMs. Let's get there. Quick mag check. Check the right one first. Good drop. Back to both. Now the left. Good. Engine instruments all look good. No warnings or anything. So we're good there. Let's turn the landing light on because we'll be getting ready to go out onto the runway. We'll pull the power back. And it's idling down in the 700s. Alright. Let's power up, get taxiing here. And we've got a little ways to go, taxi down. That is beautiful. Yeah, and we can see the wind is pointed that way. And we'll follow this curve to turn. Alright, we're lined up and we are ready to go. Let's full power. Airspeed's already alive. Engine instruments are looking good. 77, rotate. Up. There we go. And take a look there. Beautiful view. Positive rate will bring the flaps up. Beautiful view of the main island of Tahiti here. Keep coming up a little bit here. Going a bit fast. $800, we can go ahead and turn. So we're just gonna swing around this way. Pitch up a little more. Great view of the water. Yeah, there we can see the airport and the island a bit. A little bit of a steep bank there. We're actually leveled off.
autopilot.
Alright, we'll engage the autopilot there, and we'll go ahead and let it intercept the track altitude. Alright, looks good. Got a quick view out in the cockpit here. We can turn the landing light off. Man, that is absolutely gorgeous. Great view of the lagoon, like the barrier reefs and stuff like that. And then over there, of course, is the main island of Tahiti. In fact, if you look here, you can see the airport. It sits right here on this this edge of the island, and that airport's right here. This is a very short, like probably 7 or 8 minute flight. You probably could sail between these two. I'm sure there are ferries that take people between those two islands. That's pretty. All of the, kind of all of the settlements, all the towns kind of run along the edge of the island here. A little bit of cloud cover here, not bad. Let's go into the cockpit here. And I think what we'll go ahead and do is pull power back 30.5 on the manifold pressure. Up a little bit. Not that much. Come on. That's good there. Now we'll lean the mixture. We're looking down to about 20 gallons per hour for that's good right there. And we'll go ahead and lower the nose. We'll raise the speed up to 120. Help us cover more ground while we climb. Just passing right off the tip of the island here. And there's nothing but water. No, there's one small island up that way. Maybe kind of tough to see, but it's basically right over here, I think. Alright, let me go ahead and pull the map up. Our route today, this is Moorea, where we took off right here. The airport is on this corner of the island, and we're adjacent to this corner, the other end. And then, this is kind of shaped like a shark tooth a little bit, the southern end of the island. I don't think there's a lot of settlement down there. There's a little bit, but I think it's mostly concentrated up over here, and then kind of over here and here to a lesser extent. Right across the water, of course, Tahiti. You can see how close the two airports are together. 1 and 2. Very short hop over the water. Where we're going is Bora Bora, up here kind of in the middle of this group. This is the Leeward Islands, if I remember right. The Society Islands group. That includes Bora Bora, Taha'a, Raiatea, Huahine, Tupai, and Maupiti. Then you have the Windward Islands, Moorea, Tahiti. I don't remember what that one is called. And then you have the atoll of Tetiaroa. That's up there. I think that's what we were seeing off our right wingtip. We can look back at it in a minute. But basically, we're going straight over the water pretty much the whole way. I think we'll cross over the very top of Taha'a on our way down into Bora Bora. Really beautiful view coming in if we land on 2-9. We'll basically be descending right over the kind of the edge here into the airport with beautiful views off the left wing. If we land 1-1, then we'll pass it and then we'll circle back around and come in that way. But pretty straightforward flight. Halfway point is going to be just a little bit before we pass Huahine right here. And so in the greater view of things, all of these are the Society Islands in French Polynesia. They're by far the most populous, the most well-known, tons of tourism. But there are a bunch of other groups of islands in French Polynesia as well. Down to the south, they're probably not going to show up on the map very well. Oh no, they do, okay. You have the Austral Islands, these are the furthest south in the group. And a couple others, well at least one, down here. And then if you go up over this way, you have the Tuamotus, which are just a bunch of old coral atolls. Very little land, just like a bunch of rings. They don't show, that's a little better, but they don't show up great on the map. But some of the most famous ones, Rangiroa, Whakarava, Makamo, I think Hao over here. Yeah, we're going to turn the pitot heat on. And then somewhere off on this end, you'll eventually reach the Gambier Islands. Yeah, right down here. And then further up from here is eventually the Marquesas Islands, which I've done flights into, or not into, but within several times. The two biggest being Nukuhiva and Hivaoa. Beautiful flights up here. Let's go ahead and turn the pitot heat on as it's below 5 Celsius. It's 2 up here at just about 15,000 feet. We'll be leveling off at 16,000 in a moment. Grab a quick view outside. So yeah, you can see it now, and it actually stands out better against the sun-reflected water. So this is Tetiaroa, kind of a small atoll. This is Moorea, where we took off from. Airport's right back here. Tahiti. And when we level off, we'll get a better view of what's ahead of us, which we're about to do at any moment now. There we are, leveled off. Our power is set, so we don't have to touch anything. We could actually lean it a tiny bit if we... Really makes no difference, except a very small difference in the fuel burn. We're doing right at 200 knots indicated. 210, we've got about a 10 knot tailwind. It is a little breezy up here. We can go ahead, now we're at cruise, we can turn the boost pump off. And... I think we're set overall. Now you can't see much, because we're Still a bit far out. It does look a tad bit hazy, but you can kind of see some of the islands over here. So this is Huahine right here. That's about our halfway point. Just a little bit past halfway, actually. This here is Raiatea, which is one of the larger islands in the group. Up to the north is Taha'a, and just beyond that is Bora Bora. Barely you can make it out on the horizon here. That's where we're landing. And then if we go back out, we can turn back and see these two, which are pretty predominant. Or not predominant, prominent. Sorry. Right back into the cockpit here. Our speed is continuing to go up, so we're actually doing even better. 225 over the ground. That's pretty remarkable. And the wind is a bit erratic down here. It's just very light turbulence, though. It's not bad. And temperature is -1 here at 16,000. Let's go ahead and switch to the right fuel tank before we get the annunciator. Oh, whoops. Come on. There we go. And yeah, so we're just going to hang back and kind of relax. We could actually zoom out on the map screen here. I keep zooming in. I want to find a way to reverse those controls, because it's counterintuitive. So yeah, here you go. Tahiti, Moorea, Huahine, Raiatea, kind of in order of the placement of the islands from bottom to top. Pretty relaxing flight, not much to do over here. Not a whole lot to see, given that it's just over a lot of water. But the little bit of land that you do pass over, or come into, is absolutely gorgeous. This was the very first place I flew when I got Microsoft Flight Sim a little over a year ago. And it very quickly became a favorite. I've done a ton of flights through French Polynesia. Particularly between Bora Bora and Tahiti, or Moorea. Because through these islands up here, like Maupiti and Raiatea and Huahine, it's It's a very short skip, hop, and a jump. I actually have taken a seaplane, and that was pretty fun. Up in the Marquesas as well, going particularly between Nukuhiva and Hiva-Oa in either direction is a favorite of mine. I've done some flights in the Tuamotus. I'm not as fond of that, because they are not very well represented. They look like little rings of islands in incredibly deep water, and that isn't totally accurate because those are more atolls, so they're kind of lagoons that are not deep, like generally not more than, I think, about 120 feet deep in the middle, but they're covered by deep ocean. So Flight Sim does not represent them very well. It does a fantastic job with the Society Islands. It does a pretty good job with the Marquesas. It doesn't do great with the Tuamotus. So I am curious to try that out in Flight Sim 24. I'm hoping that would they would look better there, so we could do more, because there are a ton of them, a ton of airports to go into, and they really are spectacularly beautiful, but they're just represented poorly, and I say that meaning no disrespect. They try, and it's tough because they are remote. You don't get as many people flying in, you probably don't get as good a satellite coverage of them for updates and stuff, but they just, this version of the sim doesn't do them justice. It looks very crude when they would ordinarily be very spectacular. Let's grab the weather. We're actually just under halfway to Bora Bora, but I think we should be in range of the weather there. And unlike Moorea, Bora Bora does have weather reporting. Oh, we can pick it up, okay. Oh boy! Alright, well this is going to be interesting. 100 at 17 knots, so we are going to have to actually circle around. We're not landing this plane with a 17 knot tailwind. Q1017, so they use a different pressure reporting system. Temporary 090, 25 gusting to 35 knots. 3,000 feet cloud ceiling, I believe that is, and potential rain showers. So the weather might be a little hit and miss up there, but it should be okay before we get there. I hope. So I think what we'll do is a little pre-planning. I'm saying we're going to be about 19 minutes away. So I'm going to reset that view and shift down. You can actually get a better view with that camera preset in the cockpit. So what we're going to do is go to Procedures, select Approach. We have the RNAV as an option. But honestly, I think we should be okay with the visual, so I'm just going to set the visual approach. We're going to set that up. Minimum's off, we can scroll past all of that, and I'm going to load but not activate. What that's going to do is it's going to pull the approach up for us to see, but it won't make us follow it. So we really don't need to begin our descent much until here, but we'll probably begin it a little bit earlier, just in case it's going to take us further out. So, because it's going to set us a course reversal, so what we're going to do is actually break off and maybe fly along this side and circle around the island to come in and land. So we can actually clear that. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Yeah, it's even not much of a difference. About a quick look outside. Now the terrain of these leeward islands is coming into a little bit better view. And so this is Huahine. It's actually two islands that at low tide they're connected by a strip of beach, and at high tide they become two islands. And the kind of the coral atoll around them is kind of broken up, so it doesn't go all the way around them like it does on some of the other islands. Now you look out over here. This is Raiatea. There's an airport right here. If we have any trouble for any reason getting into Bora Bora, Raiatea is the next closest option. This is the island of Taha. When you hear of like French vanilla, Tahitian vanilla, stuff like that, most of it is actually grown on this island right here. This is Bora Bora right back here. This is where we're going. The airport's going to sit kind of right back here. That's Tupai, not very well known. And just barely can't make Maupiti out. I think it's further back this way. As we get closer in, we'll probably get a little better of a view of it. And we're close to halfway, and that's what those two islands back over here look like. So definitely the most prominent. Tahiti's the largest, it has the highest peaks, and Moorea is very close. Go back into the cockpit. You can actually check your distance between the two airports because your departure and destination are the first two that come up. So we're actually just a tiny bit past halfway now. I do need to get the flight tracker back up and running. I've held off a little bit on that because I'll be looking to do a trial run of Flight Sim 2024, and if it goes well, then I'll probably get that and just start flying on that sim and not worry about doing 20 much more. But the reason I want to do a trial run is in case 2024 doesn't run well on my end, or if I have a lot of bugs or problems with it, then I can reliably continue to use the 20 version, the current one that I'm flying. But I am looking forward to trying 24 out. I've heard it looks, and from all that I've seen, it looks absolutely incredible if it's running well. That's kind of the contingency there. I still can't really see Maupiti. I think it's this out here. I think it's just barely visible, but it's very tough to make out. let's go ahead and get ready to set up for our descent into Bora Bora. We're going to lower this down to 3,000 feet. This thing's finicky a little bit. There we go. We'll turn the FLC on, kind of keep our current speed. So our descent rate will be... saying we're 11 minutes out. That's going to be a little bit longer. It's saying closer to 17 minutes. Because we'll have to go past the airport and circle around. So... we can zoom in a little more on the map here. Get a better view of where we want to go. I think what we'll do is actually fly along this side of the island first and come back around and come in. When the wind favors 2-9, you get that incredible approach into the airport. When it's favoring 1-1, less so, but you get a really good takeoff view, because you pass right over the lagoon. You can see all the resorts and everything. You get a great view of the summit of the kind of central island there. Set there. Once we start kind of descending, we'll wait to pass over Taha'a, and then we'll begin a turn, and we'll just basically fly around Bora Bora to come in for the approach. So you won't get as good of an approach view, although we'll do a nice little flyover of the southern side of the island, and then we'll come around. We'll get a good view of the northern side on the final approach in. But you won't get that great wingtip view, unfortunately, which is one of the most spectacular that I've done. Let's make sure VNAV is on. It is off. Now, with your FLC on, you'll control your vertical speed with the throttle because you maintain a constant airspeed. If we used a vertical speed, your descent rate would remain constant, and we would control our airspeed with the throttle. And I generally prefer the former, although doing the latter sometimes does have advantages. This lagoon is also not very well represented over here. It's good on the north end of the island, but it actually, between these two, it actually circles both. So this isn't all open water, it's actually kind of enclosed by the lagoon. Begin our descent any moment now. And yeah, I had a feeling that was going to kind of try to take us around like some sort of a wonky turn. So we'll set that up ourselves. Should be starting down any moment now. Very good. So we'll go ahead and pull the power back to about 40%. That's good there. And we may need to pull it back a little bit more if our speed continues to pick up. Looks like it's relatively stable. As jumping around, it is a little bit breezy up here. Let's actually reduce it just a touch more. That's good there. The game does a good job of representing Bora Bora, though. The scenery around here is absolutely incredible, especially after they did the Oceania update. And it's even better. Quick view outside while we can. Raiatea, everything. This is the airport right here. And this services both of these islands. You could take a short ferry flight across if you're coming up to here. There is no airport on this island. Number one, I think because of its proximity here, and the terrain is so irregular on this island, there's really no good place to build one. Bora Bora up ahead, so this is the airport right here. So we actually might not turn and go all the way out this way, although we might. We might just kind of fly an extended base leg, but I'm not sure. That's 2Pi there. Now you can see Maupiti, but it's still kind of in the distance here. It's very small right back here. That's a pretty island. Zoom in a little more on the map. Yeah, and you can kind of see how it's taken us around. Yeah, final approach takes us out that way. So it actually... If we take that off and switch to the heading indicator, it'll start turning us a little bit. And that'll get us to kind of fly over this part of the island. Might actually have to spin it around just a little bit more. That's a very pretty view over here, though. Ton of ocean out that way. Far as the eye can see. You know what? Let's actually turn nav back on. We can fly that circle. That'll actually still be faster. It'll save us time. So we'll actually turn back in that way. Beautiful right down here. You can actually begin to see some of the resorts and the main town on the island. Vaitape, I think, is the name of it. Sits down here, but there are resorts all over the island. St. Regis, the Four Seasons, very luxurious resorts. Bora Bora is super expensive. In a commercial plane, flight between Tahiti and Bora Bora is, I believe, about 45 to 50 minutes, and we're making in about that much time in this plane. Yeah, this is gonna get really pretty here as we descend and fly into all of this here. See, we're pointed right toward the runway, but the wind is so strong in this direction. It really wouldn't make for a very good and safe landing. It makes a lot more sense to come around. We'll get a really nice top-down view, though. Yeah, look at the water. There's some white caps out there. It must be quite breezy. That's absolutely gorgeous, though. And we're just about to pass over the shoreline. And it's turning us back on course to intercept. There's a couple very luxurious resorts. Be nice to have the money to go stay there for a few nights. They're all over the place. I mean, they just dot the entire island, basically, until you get on the inland. There's more shops, towns, stuff to do. You can hike up these peaks, I'm pretty sure. Absolutely beautiful. Good view of those two islands. Huahine, you can no longer really see Moorea or Tahiti at this point, especially as we have descended. Let's go back into the cockpit and start getting kind of planned. Setting up, so yeah, what it's going to have us do is fly basically right over the airport and around, and we'll fly this kind of curve. Give us time to get set up. So it's adding probably 6 minutes or so to our total flight time, which isn't bad. We've just flown past the other side of the island. It's not large. Excuse me. Right down here's the airport, of course. Beautifully handcrafted, just like Moorea. That is absolutely beautiful, though. When you get a little better of a view of Maupiti, it sits pretty far off. Very small. And then that's Tupai right there, another very small island. Not much on that one. Maupiti does have a little bit of stuff. So it's actually going to have us fly this way and circle back around, which makes no sense. So at this time, we're going to break off. And we're going to kind of circle around here. So let's set that. We'll turn heading on. Keep our descent going down. Speeding up a little bit, so I'm going to pull back a little more on the power. Beautiful though. Coming up on 3,000, we can actually keep going down to about 1,500. And we're actually going to activate Vector to Final, which will just let us sweep around and pick this course up. So what we're going to do is go ahead and switch the FLC off, and we're going to turn vertical speed on. We're going to pick up our descent rate a little bit more. Speed's looking good. Pull back a tiny bit more on the power there. And then we'll start to turn back into the final course here. Just a nice, very gradual turn. Keep the plane in the left turn. If we spun it too far around, it could cause us to stop turning and then start turning the other way, which we definitely don't want. Beautiful. We can reduce that descent rate a little bit, so we'll bring it up to about minus 900. We'll start getting the plane slowed down. We need to get below 150 before we can put any flaps in, and we don't have a lot of room to work with. We are below the glide path extended out, but we'll probably pick that up pretty rapidly here. And now that we're getting lined in, we can turn nav mode back on. That'll discontinue the heading selector, but I think we're gonna... It's close. Yeah, I think we're going through the course just a little bit. That's not bad. Now, once we level off here, we'll start bleeding speed. We can put the flaps back in, but it's gonna track us right on the path. We could probably be a little bit higher up out here. We probably could have leveled off at 2,000 instead of 1,500, but it's fine. Okay. Once we get a little closer in, we'll go ahead and drop flaps. We're going to bump the power up to try to maintain just under 150. Let's maybe put about 40, maybe 50% power. Alright, let's do some final items. We're going to go ahead and turn the landing light on. Boost pump is going to come on. Mixture is going to go full rich. And let's go ahead and switch to the left tank. Just to keep that fuel balanced. Turn the altitude select down. And we'll turn VNav back on. When we intercept this, we should start descending. If not, we'll have to disengage the autopilot and fly in by hand. But yeah, look at the wind. Look at this. We're only doing 124 over the ground. And look at our true. There's a 26 knot, 27. It keeps fluctuating. But this is going to be a bit of a rocky approach. Let's grab the weather. Last minute check here. Let's make sure everything is set. 110 at 1.5, so the wind over the airfield is going straight down the runway. Let's just set our altimeter is actually good. And we should start descending here any moment. Good. Alright, let's go half flaps. Pull the power out a little more. Because we'll need to get below 110 by the time we get to our final approach fix. Let's actually pull the power all the way out because we're descending, so we're keeping some speed. We'll watch these cylinder head temps. We don't want them to drop much below 240, but they're good right now. We're at 112. Come on, slow down a little bit. There, we're good. Alright. Full flaps. Now we'll add the power back in. Try to maintain about 80 knots.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun, feel the wind in my hair, going
That all already played.
like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun, running, no.
There we go. Alright, we are a little slow, so we'll add a little bit of power here. And we're leveling off, it won't let us go any further, so we'll take the autopilot off. And we're going to fly this by hand. So a little more power to keep that approach speed up. We're going a little slow. We generally want to be at about 80 knots. Oh, trim. But we're looking okay. Keep this wind correction. It is very breezy up here. Only doing 65 knots over the ground.
Engaging autopilot.
Keep that turned off. Whoops. Just a little bit high here. You do get a really good view coming in, but when we land the other direction, right off the left wingtip, I mean, you get to see everything, and you pass low over it. It's absolutely gorgeous. Alright. Pretty well on course, tad bit high. Let's take some power out, because now we're a little faster than we need to be. A little high. I carry a little extra speed just because it is gusty, but come on in, nice and easy. Doesn't feel like we're as high as we really are, but we've got 4 whites on the visual approach indicator. Now we're down to 3, that's better. Okay, the wind does shift now more toward a direct headwind. So come in nice and easy here, come on. Tad bit low, now we're a bit too low. Let's keep that up, try to bleed some of this speed off, so we're just going to fly nice and level. A little more power, because we're going pretty slow. There, we're looking a little better there. Come on. Easy in, add a little bit of power there. Oh, we're floating a bit. That's gusty. That's way more than the 15. Oh, that was not a good landing. Alright, that was a bit rough, but we're on the ground, so we're good. Hit the brakes, and we can make that turn up here. We bounced a little bit. We came in. That was with the wind gusty like that. And look at that. It's actually... Look at the wind cone is all over the place. It isn't even straight down the runway like the weather was reporting. So in that case, we probably should have carried a little bit more speed. But we did okay. It wasn't a great landing, but I mean, by no means was it something that would, like, destroy the plane. Let's taxi in here. Beautiful handcrafted airport. Absolutely beautiful building. And we'll go ahead and park right up here. Great fire truck. There's some smaller buildings where smaller planes I think normally would park, but we're good to go right up here in front of the building. There we are. Parking brake is set. Yeah, just take a look there. So this is a little jetty that people actually will walk from the airport out to sail to like whatever hotel on the atoll or the reef that they're going to be staying at, or to the main island in the middle where the town is and everything. Airport de Bora Bora. Of course, in French Polynesia, they speak French along with the native Tahitian language. Of course, some of the other islands, I think, have some dialects, but it's throughout all of this here, I think it's pretty much standard Tahitian. I could be wrong on that, don't quote me. Oh, they're missing the flags. That's okay. Alright. So let's go ahead and turn the landing light off. The pitot heat can come off. We could have turned that off earlier, but it's okay to leave it on. Flaps up. Boost pump off. And we'll go ahead and start shutting down. So the first thing to come off will be the avionics master. The 2 alternator switches. And we're good to go ahead and cut the power. So we'll pull the mixture out. 49 minutes. So it did take us a little bit longer coming in. Partly because we had to fly a little ways out, and because the wind was so strong coming in that it really reduced our ground speed. So that's why it took a little bit longer. We'd originally expected 39 or 41 minutes. Yeah, no worries. Alright, continue getting the plane shut down here. Now we can turn the rest of this off. Strobe lights, nav lights off, and the 2 battery switches and the magnetos. Everything is shut down, locked, and we'll get one more short glimpse of the beautiful view of the island and the scenery around here. Great handcrafted airport. This is one of my favorite places to fly into. Look at this sign right here. Reserved zone. I don't really speak French, so I can't really understand well what it says. I mean, I can understand a few words. And then, oh, restricted area. I understand that, and then it actually has it written out in Tahitian, which is pretty cool. It's a great airport. Great place to fly into. I mean, you get that gorgeous view here. So, alright folks, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks so much for joining me. Appreciate you all. I'm going to be offline for a few days as I'm traveling. I look forward to getting back doing some more stuff. You all have a great one. Take it easy. Stay safe. And we'll see ya.